It was a cold, foggy February night in Charleston, South Carolina, aboard the flight deck of the USS Yorktown. It was 1987 and the aircraft carrier held a pool of tents occupied by a local Boy Scout troop. It was an annual winter camping trip and each of the boys were assigned 2 to 3 to a tent. It was late at night and the adult chaperones were making their rounds by flashlight, unzipping tents and performing their head counts when the scout leader realized they were a boy short. He left the other adults with the majority of the troop and set off across the Yorktown's flight deck with his flashlight into the fog, eventually finding the boy at the edge of the deck near where the Coast Guard cutter Comanche was moored alongside the Yorktown. "What is that?" the scout leader asked the boy, who turned away from the water, his face white and cast with an amber-red glow from way down below coming up from the Comanche. The boy simply turned and pointed down to the water, and when the scout leader stepped up, putting his hand on the boy's shoulder, taking a look over the side for himself, it was to find hundreds of mysterious red-amber lights in the water surrounding the Comanche, just below the black water's surface, blinking slowly. He pulled the boy back from the edge after watching for several minutes, the hair raising on the back of his neck at the odd sight. He took the boy back to his tent and told the rest of the adults what he'd seen, though he had absolutely no idea what it could be. Well, someone put 2 and 2 together, my little strangelings. You see, it was during World War II, off the coast of Newfoundland, that a ship by the name of the Dorchester was sunk by German U-boat U-223 on the night of February 2nd, no less. So what does that have to do with the Comanche? Well, the Comanche was the ship that responded to the call of distress from the Dorchester and rowed to the rescue, scooping as many of the blinking amber-red beacons attached to the men of the Dorchester's life vest as they bobbed helplessly in the frigid waters. What the Boy Scout and his scoutmaster had seen that night was the residual haunting of the rescue of the Dorchester's men in the waters surrounding the Comanche. An anniversary ghost, if you will. Sadly, the Comanche was scuttled 12 miles off the Charleston coast after sustaining damage beyond the ability to repair when it was swept repeatedly into the side of the floating citadel of the Yorktown during a hurricane some years after this recorded incident. All we have left of her is the story of that cold Charleston February night, and the hundreds of red-amber blinking lights illuminating the night just under the water's surface. Something that hasn't been seen since the Comanche was dropped to form Artificial Reef.